Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is January 1st, 2026. I wonder how many times I'm going to mess that one up. Probably a lot. I'll warn you right now. And we are going to read our Bible. All right. So we just finished Revelation yesterday, which would have finished our fourth read through that I've done here online. And what do you do when you finish the Bible? Well, you start over again. Every time you read through it, you're going to pick up more and more and more. Now we were using, well, let's see. For my personal reading, I'm going to use the MacArthur Study Bible, Legacy Standard Bible, which I've never read through the Legacy Standard Bible, so I'm looking forward to doing that. You can use whatever Bible you want to follow along. I like to change my Bible that I'm studying so that I get different perspectives on things. This is, again, put out by John MacArthur. I would not recommend this as your first study Bible. I would get something more general, like an ESV Standard Bible, CSB Standard Bible. With MacArthur, you're going to get Reformed theology, Calvinist theology, very opinionated. So if you understand where he's coming from, this is a great reference. And to understand where he's coming from, it's probably better to start with something more general. I probably also am going to be reading out of, for my own personal benefit, I'm going to read out of my Every Man's Study Bible. Let me see if I can open that. Every Man's Bible. I've got the NIV version. It comes in the NLT version. And I'll probably be using those two for my personal studies. All right, which one am I going to use to read? Well, I'm going to continue to read out of the New King James Version. I like the way it sounds. I like how it balances the majesty of the King James with a modern language Bible. Again, use the Bible that you have, use the Bible that you like. Ordinarily, we've been using the reading plan that we get out of the English Standard Version that's available in places online. We're going to switch over to, excuse me, McChain's plan. A lot of other Bibles will give you that as a free one because it's public domain and they don't want to pay anyone for it. It also does 4 readings like we've been doing, but it divides them differently. Let's see. What does mine say? You're going to get 4 readings. The center column tells you what day you're on. You get 2 readings that it calls family readings, corporate readings, things that you would want to read with people, talk about with people. In those family readings, you're going to start in Genesis 1:1, and you're going to go all the way through Chronicles. There's also a second reading where it's going to start with Matthew, and it's going to work all the way through from Matthew to Revelation, the entire New Testament, and it's going to throw in the Psalms. Then they've got secret readings. What are secret readings? Well, it suggests are just readings that you do for your own personal benefit. That's going to run you through all the rest of the Old Testament books, all the prophets and the wisdom books, and it's also going to run you through the New Testament from Matthew to Revelation and the Psalms again. So if you follow this plan, you read the Old Testament, the entire Old Testament once, you read Psalms twice, you read you read the New Testament twice. So we're going to do the 2 readings for today. So on January 1st, it says we want to do Genesis 1 and Matthew 1. All right, so let's get started. Genesis 1, beginning of the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament text. What do we want to see in Genesis 1? Well, we want to see that God is the sovereign Lord of creation. It's all God's plan. It was created for God's purpose. You want to get into the question, is it really 6 days? Is it 6 literal days? Is it 6 symbolic days? We're not going to get into that. What are we going to get into? It doesn't matter how long it was. What we want to see is God created it. God said, let there be, and there was. And he didn't stop there. He started to say, okay, well, I like this, get rid of that. I want this is good, get rid of that. And he keeps working on his creation until he gets what he wants. Eden, the shalom of God, the perfection of God. And that's when he puts us in the middle of it and says, okay, you're here, this is perfection, Trust me that this is perfection. Accept my word, accept my will, and just be my image bearer to reflect my glory back to myself. That's what I want. But of course, that's not how it happens. Satan shows up and things become corrupted. And we're going to get to that as we read through Genesis. So here in the first chapter, that's all we want to really get out of it for our reading is the intentionality of God in his creation. So let's go ahead and we're going to read Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the morning were the first day. Then God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Thus God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so, and God called the firmament heaven, and so the evening and the morning were the second day. Then God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas, and God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit, according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb that yields seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So the evening and the morning were the third day. Then God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth." And it was so. Then God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. God set them in the firmament of the heavens and gave light on the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. So the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Then God said, "Let the waters abound with an abundance of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens." So God created the great sea creatures and every living thing that moves, and which the waters abounded, according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." So the evening and the morning were the fifth day. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creatures according to its kind, cattle and creeping things and beasts of the earth, each according to its kind." And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let him have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created them, male and female he created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." And God said, "See, I have given you every herb that yields seed which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. So to you it shall be for food. Also to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, in which there is life, I have given every green herb for food." And it was so. Then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the sixth day. All right, now we're going to jump to Matthew. Matthew starts us in the New Testament. Who is Matthew? Well, his other name is Levi. He was one of the disciples of Jesus. And what does Matthew want to tell us in his gospel? Well, gospel means good news. Well, he's going to lay out how Jesus fulfills what we're getting ready to read about in the New Testament, because that perfection that we just read in Genesis is about to be corrupted. And we get the fall of man. And God vows that he's going to fix it in his own way. And how is he going to fix it? He's going to bring forth a Messiah who is going to be the Redeemer of fallen creation. And Matthew wants us to see that that person is Jesus, the person that he followed. And he's going to start off with a genealogy. And he wants to establish Jesus in that line, that Davidic line that God promised that's where his Messiah is going to come from. So let's go ahead and we're going to read Matthew chapter 1. The book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham begot Isaac, Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot Judah and his brothers. Judah begot Perez and Zerah by Tamar. Perez begot, let's go back to Tamar. So Tamar is a female. Usually you wouldn't have that in a genealogy. Matthew's going to give us 5 females. And we're going to get their stories in the Old Testament because their stories have to do with grace, God's grace. So again, Matthew tying us to the Old Testament, he's tying it to God's grace. All right, let's pick it back up in 3. So Judah begot Perez and Zerah by Tamar. Perez begot Hezron, and Hezron begot Ram. Ram begot Amminadab. Amminadab begot Nahshon, and Nahshon begot Salmon. Salmon begot Boaz by Rahab. Boaz begot Obed by Ruth. Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David the king. David the king begot Solomon by her who had been the wife of Uriah. Solomon begot Rehoboam. Rehoboam begot Ahiah, and Ahiah begot Asa. Asa begot Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat begot Joram, and Joram begot Uzziah. Uzziah begot Jotham. Jotham begot Ahaz, and Ahaz begot Hezekiah. Hezekiah begot Manasseh. Manasseh begot Amon, and Amon begot Josiah. Josiah begot Jeconiah and his brothers about the time they were carried away to Babylon. Now wait a minute, if you read your Old Testament before, you would understand that Jeconiah was the king that was cursed and told that no descendants of yours will ever sit on the throne of David. So how can Jesus sit on the throne of David? Well, we'll get to that. Let's pick it back up at 12. And after they were brought to Babylon, Jeconiah begot Shealtiel, and Shealtiel begot Zerubbabel, and Zerubbabel begot Abiud. Abiud begot Eliakim, and Eliakim begot Azor. Azor begot Zadok. Zadok begot Akim, and Akim begot Eliud. Eliud begot Eleazar. Eleazar begot Mathan, and Mathan begot Jacob. And Jacob begot Joseph, the husband of Mary, to whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. Matthew just did something really important there and tells us that Jesus is the son of Mary, not Joseph. So how does Jesus qualify to be in this line? Well, because Joseph, we're going to see, accepts Jesus as his own, accepts what God says about him, and legitimizes Jesus. Jesus becomes his legal heir. And as his legal heir, he's entitled to be part of this genealogy. What did we say about Jeconiah? He can't have a biological heir. And because Jesus is the son of Mary, he's not a biological heir of Jeconiah. But legally, he's now entitled to be on the throne without breaking that curse. Something to think about. Pick it back at 17. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. From David until the captivity in Babylon are 14 generations. And from the captivity in Babylon until the Christ are 14 generations. Now, it's not exactly that. Matthew does what's common for writers of this time period, that he selectively went down the genealogy so that we got 14, 14, 14. He wants us to see that balance. He wants us to see that God had the plan and that Jesus fits into the plan. Pick it up at 18. Now the birth of Jesus Christ was as follows. After his mother Mary was betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Spirit. That Joseph, her husband, being a just man and not wanting to make her a public example, was minded to put her away secretly. But while he thought about these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take to you Mary your wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. And she will bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. So all this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the Lord through the prophet, saying, Behold, the virgin shall be with child, and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which is translated God with us. Then Joseph, being aroused from sleep, did as the angel of the Lord commanded him, and took to him his wife, and did not know her till she had brought forth her firstborn son, and he called his name Jesus. May God bless reading of his word. May God bless you. Bye.